Welcome back, Mzansi, to African farming. Ntate Abel Naphtaly has a keen eye, and years of observing his and other animals have made him an expert in his own right. It was a privilege spending time with him and learning from him. Now, it's time to tap into the wisdom of our in-studio experts. As always, we have with us some familiar faces in agriculture to give us all advice. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, with us in studio, we have Dr. Thapelo Makae from Elanco, Cronje from Vleissentraal, Francois van der Vyver from Voermol, and Praveen Dwarika from Lemang.
Thank you.
It's so good to have you all here. Now, Abel wants people going to restaurants one day asking for his meat. Now, that is what I call traceability, and also relates to how products are marketed. Now, Praveen, let's talk more about traceability and the importance of it.
Yeah. So I look at traceability from two different contexts. Number one, you want to know where your foods come from. So if there are quality concerns, etc. in the market. But more importantly, for your conscious consumer, there's a story behind that food that's been produced. And it's so important that if the marketing's done right, that the person that's consuming the food gets to understand the story behind that. So, you've got a plate in front of you with a piece of steak on it, but everything that's gone into that, the family history, the legacy, etc., is all in that piece of meat, and traceability can do that for you. So when somebody orders that and is consuming it, they know exactly what the legacy behind that, and that's so important when it comes to traceability.
And we appreciate our food even more.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gio, now you know Ntate Abel from the auctions. I mean, he knows how to spot a good bull. He even taught me a thing or two. Now, what is the importance of auctions for livestock farmers?
Yeah, for someone like Abel, it is quite important, I think, because Abel knows that farming is a business. So every cent counts. And to come to an auction, especially for him, having quality cattle, he can compare his animals to other farmers' animals. And also on the auction, you have the opportunity to see what kind of animals go what prices, and what the markets want, like Praveen is saying.
I like what Gio is saying about that Abel takes such good care of his animals in order to fetch a good price. But it's not only about good value and the price. There's also health considerations to when you bring your animals into the auctions. Now, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think what's important for us to actually talk about right now is for the emerging market, or for the emerging farmers, where they are not in the formal type of trading. This is where most of these farmers actually get their animals. And the important thing about auctions is, we talked a lot about biosecurity, trying to prevent animals from entering your farm and stuff. So I think it's very important for guys to remember, once you go to the auctions, try to find out a little bit more about the animals that you potentially buy. The history. Remember the last time we spoke about keeping records?
Yes.
Vaccination programs, so what are you injecting and things like that. So it's very important to prevent different diseases that might be introduced onto your farm that you might get from the auctions.
Okay. Now, Francois, you know the saying, you are what you eat, but I'm pretty sure that also applies to livestock, right? So farmers can do pretty much everything right, but if they don't get the feed right, that could spell disaster for your animals. Talk to me about that.
Yes, no, absolutely. I think we always try to encourage our farmers to have an approach of complementary supplementation or nutrition. And what I mean by that is it's as simple as the grazing on the farmers. It's relatively cheap, it's there to use, and we use it in a responsible manner. And we only complement whatever the deficiency would be on that grazing. And that's where we come in with nutrition. So in the certain periods of a year, we talk about the 3 phases of a year, we will only supplement the primary limiting nutrients. But in that doing so, we are actually then encouraging the animal to consume and eat more of that grazing. We're stimulating the digestibility of that grazing, thereby not substituting it. In other words, we are responsible in the use of our farm, and we produce our animals to their optimal potential.
All right, gentlemen, I want to wrap this up by having just some words of encouragement for other farmers, maybe a comment on Tate Abel's progress. Let me start with you, Thapelo.
Yeah, so Tate Abel is a legend. You must just remember that he's doing a stellar job.
Yes.
And, I'm sure the farmers around him are looking up to him. But to the other farmers out there, I think it's important for us to say prevention is better than cure. You must plan, and vaccinate out in time.
Francois, over to you.
I can't agree with that more. There's an old saying that we need to measure what we're doing on the farm. So if we don't measure, and if we didn't plan initially and measure what we planned, we will never achieve success. So very important to set up that plan initially and then to measure and check that we're doing it according to our plan.
Plan. Yes. Praveen?
Exactly what all of my colleagues have said feeds back to that traceability story. So if that piece of meat represents all of that, isn't it a wonderful story for Tate Abel to be able to hear from his consumers?
A sense of pride.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What about you, Gio?
Yeah, no, Abel is definitely pride on what he's doing, and he's a great example for all the emerging farmers. And what I can say for the farmers is come to an auction, choose a good representative, and do your compares, and come see first what we can do for you.
Nice. So get yourself educated at these auctions. All right. Thank you so much to our expert guests for all the valuable advice and insights. Mzansi, every week I learn so much from our farmers and our experts. Hopefully you at home also have enjoyed this journey, and we wish farmer Abel Naphtaly all the best. I can't help but think of him each time I cut into a nice piece of steak. And don't forget that you can engage with us on our social media platforms via #AfricanFarming. You can also visit our website, africanfarming.com. I'll see you again next week. And remember, Mzansi, we farm better together.